Hello, hi. This is Danielle Serpico, the Blackbelt mastermind. And if you don't know me, I am a mind coach, a hypnotist, an NLP master practitioner and trainer. I'm also an author of the Blackbelt Mastermind book and a radio host with two shows in Dublin, Charity Radio, and also Dublin City FM Mind Matters at 11 a.m. on Friday mornings. Now, the reason I'm here is because it was not always that way. I was not always doing this type of work because about 9 years ago I was in a previous life and a previous business. I was always an entrepreneur and I had a number of restaurants, but things changed and I went down the self-development route. And if you don't know my story as yet, you can always check it out in the Black Belt Mastermind book, or of course check out some of my blogs under danielleserpico.com or the Black Belt Mastermind. So hi, I just want to say hi to some people joining us. Hi, Jerry. I wanted to do this little Facebook Live and also then put it onto YouTube because I wanted to talk about some subjects that people have been asking me about, and it's very, very common and comes up often in my one-to-one, working with clients one-to-one, and also in groups. So I'm just looking at some of the questions that people had sent me. So if you have any questions also, I'd love you to put it in the comments below, and yeah, let me know. I can help you with your mindset. If you have anything, any adversity in your life or any issues that you'd like to ask me about, I would be very happy to help. Okay, I'm just looking at this. Watching live from Fermoy. Okay, very good. It's in the middle of nowhere. Why are you going to the middle of nowhere, Jerry? I'm looking at these comments here and some of the questions that I had. So just give me a moment. We'll see if maybe more people join in. Hi, Tracy. How are you? Hi, Lane. So if you have any questions for me, any kind of little issue or problem or something you just would like to ask about, I would love to hear from you and put in the comments below. Okay. One of the things I wanted to talk about was procrastination. And I wasn't procrastinating just here now. I was looking at the questions that people had sent me. So procrastination is a big issue for many, many people. And often why people come to me is because they feel that they are maybe overwhelmed. They have ideas, they have things that they would like to do, but they end up getting nothing done. Okay, so is that you? Okay. Hi, Megan. How are you? If any questions, please put them in the comments. Great to have you all here. So please comment away and ask some questions. I'd love to hear your questions. So if you tend to procrastinate, and we've all procrastinated some time or other in our lives, a good way to start, if you would like to stop, is to notice what you're procrastinating about. Because often people come to me and they say things like, oh, I have no motivation. And I say, okay, really, you have no motivation? They say, no, none whatsoever. I'm the least motivated person on the planet. And I say, well, what do you do then all day? I say, oh, I sit in front of the telly on the couch eating chocolate. Okay. And I say, okay, so you're quite motivated to eat chocolate, so, right? Okay. So when we make generalizations, okay, it tends to hold us back in life. If you're saying something like, I am very unmotivated, I procrastinate all the time, I always feel this way, you're subconsciously influencing your subconscious mind to actually not take action, and you're brainwashing yourself simply. So how to get going first thing in the morning? Okay, Jerry. Okay, good question. Okay, good question. So if you tend to procrastinate, let's take the subject of getting up out of bed. Okay, if you're someone who procrastinates about getting up out of bed, okay, and you leave it to the last moment, that's a very interesting dilemma and something very common to many people. Okay, we're going to take away the obvious. Take away if you're tired. Are you doing the obvious stuff like going to bed on, nice and early, getting yourself a good night's sleep? Okay, those sort of things. So take away the practical stuff. Obviously, you've counted out those things, I'm presuming. Okay, a good tip is to sleep on 90-minute cycles. So what I mean by that is you tend to be less tired if you wake up after 90 minutes versus waking up after 45 minutes. The reason for that is you're not in your deep sleep cycle. So if you find that, you know, a lot of us kind of tend to sleep around 8 hours. I used to do that at one point in my life, and I used to find I'd wake up at 8 hours and I would, after 8 hours, and I would feel more tired. I'd feel very like a sense of inertia. Okay, after 8 hours, more tired than I did maybe after, say, 7.5 hours. Okay, so the reason for that was 7.5 hours is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with 90-minute cycles. Okay, so that's a good little practical tip. Okay, you'll be more alert if you set your alarm on a 90-minute cycle. So either sleep for 6 hours, 7.5 hours, or 9 hours. Okay, drink plenty of water. Okay, before you go to bed, not so much that you need to be going to the toilet. Cut out all this social media stuff before bedtime, and clear your room of all that kind of clutter and all that kind of stuff, and have a good night's sleep. Okay, but apart from the practical stuff, if you've still had a good night's sleep and there's none of that obvious stuff, and you're still just simply procrastinating about getting up, pay attention to what you're doing inside your head. So pay attention to what you're focusing on, okay? Because generally, most of us tend to take action. Notice the next time that you get up, when you finally do get up, say you switch the alarm off and you switch it off again and you switch it off again and you switch it off again. Notice what makes you actually decide to get up at the last minute, okay? Is it a sense of, okay, I'm going to, if I stay in bed, I'm just going to rot away here in bed and waste my day, or if I stay in bed, I'm going to miss out on this great opportunity, okay? Because one of them will be moving you away from pain and the other one will be moving you towards pleasure, so to speak. And always we take action when we're moving away from pain or towards pleasure. Always the way. So any decision that you make, any action that you take in your life is simply down to you've done something in your head very, very super fast, okay, that you've actually moved away from pain or moved towards pleasure. So take myself. Okay, how do I get up in the morning? What I do is I actually set my alarm clock on my phone, right? But I've never heard it, hardly ever, about once or twice. Okay, the reason being is because I know I am very aware of my sabotaging patterns. Okay, and I'm very aware that I'm very easily motivated to move away from pain. So what happens is I have a horrible tone on my alarm clock and I hate the sound of it. Hate it. It just really bothers me, okay? So what I do is I set the alarm clock, and every single morning, without fail, I guarantee this, you can do this, okay? Have a go at this. I wake up before the alarm clock goes off and I switch it off. So because I'm motivated to move away from pain, so to speak. I don't like the displeasure of hearing the alarm clock, so I set it, but I always wake up because we have an internal body clock. Okay, let's say you are more motivated towards moving towards pleasure, and that's what makes you take action. Then what you might do is you might associate more thoughts and things into taking action. So for example, you might focus really powerfully on the benefit of getting up right now. Okay, what can you do if you get up a little bit early? If you give yourself that extra 5 minutes and get up, you can have your nice cup of tea, or you can have a nice hot shower, or you can have a leisurely walk to work instead of legging it and having to run to work, or whatever that may be. The more pleasure that you attach to that situation, if you are motivated by moving towards pleasure, the more you're going to be motivated to take action. Okay, and you will procrastinate less. If you're motivated by pain, then the more pain that you attach to that situation, the more motivated you will be to get up and take action also. So you can use this in your everyday life and many other things. So for example, say you want to do more exercise. Okay, again, the same process would apply. If you are motivated by pain, focus, maybe sit down and actually close your eyes and focus intently on the outcome of you not doing anything. Okay, what will actually happen? Maybe you'll put on weight, maybe you'll get ill, maybe you'll get sick, all these kind of things. Maybe you'll just feel really, really rotten. Okay, and instead, if you're motivated towards pleasure, think about all the things that will actually happen if you actually take action. And also, you can also do other things, like for example, attach more pleasure to the act of doing it. So for example, maybe buy yourself a new set of earphones or a nice audiobook or some nice music that you can listen to when you're going out for your walk, or maybe a new gear, or even a nice water bottle or something that kind of takes your fancy. Or maybe the idea of when you come back from your walk that you're going to have a lovely treat there waiting for you when you come back. All of these things, I use that a lot, because it's not that we are one or the other exclusively. We use both to our advantage, okay? But generally there'll be one of those, either pain or pleasure, that will tend to be the deciding ultimate factor at the last minute that helps us to actually take action. So paying attention to the very, very last thing that happens before you get up. What do you say inside your head when you do get to get up, Brian? Okay, what actually happens? Do you go, oh God, and you curse and you say, I have to get up now because or else what? Or else what? You're going to miss out on something. If you stay in bed, what's going to happen? If you get up, what's going to happen? What is the focus? What is that final thing that you're saying inside your head that makes you take action? It's the same as anything, same as exercise, same as eating healthily, same as anything else, okay? Anything that you would like to do in your life, okay? I'm a ply girl myself, a pleasure girl, is it? Yeah, so attach lots of pleasure. Think of all the different things. So maybe you procrastinate about your business, or taking action in your business. Maybe you want to, this is a big one, maybe you want to do more promotional stuff, like for example this, like doing Facebook stuff. I know so many people, which kind of leads me on to another question, fear of public speaking, fear of putting yourself out there, fear of sales, okay, and selling, okay, that have incredible stuff to offer, incredible stuff, okay, marvelous stuff, but they are afraid to actually put themselves out there, okay, because they think to themselves, oh well, you know, what if I'm ridiculed? What if people just laugh at me? What if people think I'm rubbish? What if they think I'm just trying to push something on them, okay? But you know what? If you don't actually get out there and do it, then people can't have that marvelous stuff that you have. Now, that's not arrogance. That's simply a fact. That's simply common sense, okay? Because look at how the world goes around. It started out with money being a bartering system, right? Because we used to exchange our gifts. We used to exchange what we had, okay? Our skills, our knowledge, our products, okay? So if we don't exchange our products, the world is going to come to a standstill. So, you know, if you don't believe in your own product, then how is somebody else expected to? So when it comes to something like improving your confidence or self-belief muscle, okay, think about the message that you want to share. Think about what it is that you want to promote, sell, share out with other people, okay? Let's take myself, okay? There was a time that I felt that I was worthless. Okay, and we've covered that in many other interviews and videos. You can always check out my story at danielleserpico.com or the Blackbelt Mastermind. Okay, but what happened was I did some simple little things, like for example, a really interesting, a very interesting exercise that I did at one point, which had me in tears probably for about 2 days. Okay, but it really did change my life ultimately. Okay, I call it the blame game. It is in the Blackbelt Mastermind book. Also, if you buy the Blackbelt Mastermind book, you'll also see this. Or if you come to my boot camp, we do this also. But it's called the blame game. And there was one point in my life that I blamed everybody and everything for my situation. So, and things that had happened in my life. So the blame game goes like this: if there is somebody or something in your life that you feel is responsible or partly responsible for your situation right now. Okay, think about it. Is there someone or something, so a person or a situation, even the weather, that is responsible for you feeling, that you feel is responsible or even partly responsible for how you feel right now? Okay, if you've answered yes to that, have a go at this exercise. Okay, now you may not want to do this right now, but what I suggest is that you do this at some point, maybe after this video, in your own time and space, and take a little bit of time out. Because when I did this, it was a biggie for me, and I cried. As I said, I cried for a long time to get all this emotion out of me. But it works like this: get a page, put a line down the middle of it. Now, if you're right-handed like most of us, okay, if you're left-handed like the wonderful creative people that we have here watching, like Jerry, okay, you will do the opposite. So if you're right-handed, what you will do is you will write on the left side of the page, I want you to write down all the reasons that you blame this person or this situation for. So, for example, I did this about my father, okay, because my father, I felt at the time, that had abandoned me. Okay, this was when I was 10 years of age. Okay, I didn't see my father again until I was 18 years of age. And when I went over to confront him on this, because I'd had no contact with him, he told me that it was easier for him to think that myself and my sister were dead. Okay, now that affected me a lot and caused me for another 20 years or so to feel very bad about myself and feel that I was worthless. Okay, that's what I thought at the time. Okay, but everything's in context, even including what he said. So what I did was this exercise, and it's an old exercise that's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, because nothing's new really. Okay, and I got this exercise from Tony Robbins, but he got this exercise from somebody else, probably Richard Bandler, who was my teacher also, because we had the same teacher, and it goes back and back and back. So you write down on the left-hand side of the page, unless you're left-handed, you would write on the right-hand side of the page. You will write down all the reasons why you blame this person or situation. So I wrote down, I blame you, Dad, for being this. I blame you, Dad, for being selfish. I blame you, Dad, for abandoning me. I blame you for not caring. I blame you for not loving me. I blame you for not taking an interest. I blame you for being selfish, irresponsible, childish, unkind, insensitive, all of those things. So write down all of that. But now, here's the crunch. If you are going to blame someone or something for the bad stuff, then you've also got to blame them for the good stuff. And that's difficult, isn't it, right? That's hard, because you want to hold on to that grudge. You want to hold on to that feeling of, no, I'm right. Okay, and no, you're responsible and it's your fault. And it took me a while to be able to actually do that, because I was angry. I was saying, like, I was a little girl, there was no good out of it. But you know what? There was. Because here I am today. Okay, and now at 44 years of age, I can finally actually say that I'm wonderful. And I can actually say that I'm a good person. And I can actually say that I actually deserve love, as do you, right? And I can actually say that I am awesome, as you are, right? Okay, but I would never have been able to say that even 10 years ago. Okay, and the reason why is because partly, not all, but partly because of this exercise. Because when I started writing down the things that I blamed him for positively, things started to change. Because if it wasn't for what had happened, I wouldn't have this fight in my belly. I wouldn't have this determination and this drive to keep getting back up. I wouldn't have this, most of all, I think I wouldn't have the empathy and the understanding of what it feels like to feel abandoned. Okay, I wouldn't have that same sense of caring. Okay, as I've said many times before, you can't have the yin without the yang. You can't have the dark without the light. Okay, you have to experience both, unfortunately, sometimes in your life, for you to be able to really, really appreciate the good. So I'm here, for example, big tractors just going by as I live in the country. And it's so fantastic. I never thought 10 years ago I'd be here living in the country, and it's the most amazing thing. So you have to always take the good with the bad. So if you're going to blame someone or something in your life, blame also for the good. Okay, it's a great exercise. I can go into more into depth with you at that if you check out the Blackbelt Mastermind book, or of course if you want to join me on my boot camp, and the next one is on the 16th of September in Dublin in the Central Hotel. I have 2 spaces left, and I would love you to join me. So please get in touch at the DanielleSerpico.com, or here on Facebook, or anywhere you like. I'm everywhere. Very easy to contact. I'm looking at the other questions that people have asked me. Okay, how to feel happy. That's a big one. I get that a lot. People, get in touch and they say, I feel unhappy, I feel sad, I feel depressed. Okay, so if you're feeling sad, lonely, depressed, okay, first of all, pay attention to what you think would make you happy. Because a lot of the time people don't actually even know, and they've never really even answered the question. They've actually just kind of vaguely just say they feel a sense of unhappiness, but they don't actually even know what happiness would be. Okay, because we haven't focused on it enough. We haven't analyzed it enough, because you see, happiness isn't, as we've often said, is not a destination. Happiness is something that you do. Okay, so, and again, this took me a little bit of time to get my head around and actually come to terms with. But once we let go of that, and it's unfortunate, but it is somewhat of a victim mentality. okay, and wanting to focus on ourselves. The more we focus on ourselves, the less happy we're going to feel. So this is the reason for doing this Facebook Live, and also because I want to upload it to YouTube, and maybe you're watching this as a replay on YouTube because I wanted to give back. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm giving something back, because there was a time in my life that I felt that there was no one there for me. And I felt very, very alone, and I used to literally lie there and scream at the ceiling. So if you're feeling like that, remember, first of all, I know again, it seems like very simple and easy to say, but you're not alone. There's many other people that feel the same way, and also there's many other people that would love to get to know you, and also love to talk to you, and love to help you, and maybe share with you what they feel, and maybe you could talk about it with them. But secondly, there is a way out. There is definitely a way to feel better. Okay, we tend to stay stuck in our old patterns, but it is easier than you think to change those patterns, believe me. Okay, all it takes is you taking a little bit of action. Now, that little bit of action might be as simple as you sitting up, as I've often said, putting a smile on your face, taking a glass of water, going for a little walk, going out and meeting somebody, anybody, picking the phone up and having a phone conversation. But it's about taking steps every single day, little tiny little steps every single day, and moving yourself out of that situation into a new situation, so that you're creating new habits, new routines, new neural pathways, okay, so that you have a new life. Like, for example, I met a gentleman last week. We had a cup of coffee and a chat. He had come to one of my talks, and he messaged me afterwards and said that, you know, he was too shy to say it at the time at the talk because there's too many people around, but he wanted to message me because he said he felt very alone. He's a foreign gentleman, and he said he had no friends, and he was shy because he didn't speak English well, and he did not know how to meet people, and you know, he was lonely. He was lonely. He was a youngish man, okay, but he felt very alone. So what we did was, there and then, for example, we looked up Meetup together. Okay, our Meetup is a group that's all over the world, and there's all these different network groups and different talks. Now, he'd come to my talk, so he was aware of Meetup because I had advertised it also on Meetup. But in this group, I found for him a group specifically of foreign people living in Ireland that wanted to meet up and talk in English to improve their English. Okay, and I organised with him to go to that. So he went, and you know what? He was a little bit scared at the start, but once he went in, he was absolutely fine. And afterwards, he would say, "Oh my God, that was the best thing ever." Okay, because everybody was in the same boat. So 24 hours or so, maybe 48 hours previously, he thought that he was the only one in Dublin that felt like this. He was the outcast. He felt alone. But what he realized, that there was many, many other people that felt the same way. And when we put them together, their whole world, their whole view in the world, their whole perspective changed. So sometimes taking a simple step as that, because that went on to propel him to do other stuff, of course. Okay, and now he's taking an awful lot more action, and we're working together, we're moving forward into a new direction. So taking one little step can totally change your life. Maybe even picking up the phone and talking to someone you love, or a friend or a relation, or maybe just going out there and meeting somebody new. Okay, or walking into a supermarket and saying hello to somebody that maybe feels a little bit ignored, or somebody stacking the shelves, or a till operator. That might be all that is needed to change your life. You have no idea of the effect that you will have on others. So that is some of the advice. I don't know if there's any questions coming in. You're frozen. Okay, pleasure. Yeah, if you have any more questions. But what I would like to say is is I would love you to get in touch if you have any questions, any thoughts, any comments on mindset, maybe how to overcome adversity, how to pick yourself back up, and maybe how to build better relationships, both in your business or personal life. I would love to hear from you, and I'd love to help in any way I can. So you can always follow what I do at DanielleSerpico.com and the blackbeltmastermind.com, which should be back up, I'm hoping, tonight. And also check out the upcoming Blackbelt Mastermind Bootcamp on the 16th of September, and also the NLP Practitioner course, which starts on that date also. And I have 2 places left, so I would love to fill them, and I'd love it to be you. So, and we're going to be learning lots of stuff, as well as obviously all of this, how to build your confidence. You're going to learn a whole new paradigm of the world. You're going to learn you're going to see the world very differently, because you're going to learn all about your internal map and other people's internal map and how they view the world. So maybe you want to make a better relationships with both your personal and your business life. Maybe simply understanding what people are doing inside their head will help you with that. So you will learn IQs, that when they look in a certain direction, when they move a hand a certain way, when they use a certain tone of voice, when they use a certain word, what does that mean, and how that can change your life? Because if you know what's going on inside their head, maybe they don't even know it themselves. Okay, it might be a subconscious thing, but maybe you can help them to change their mind also. And you'll be able to use language that is influential and will benefit them and benefit your life. So if you would like to find out more about the NLP practitioner course, you can also find that at danielleserpico.com under NLP training. And the next one is the 16th of September. Okay, what question do I have? Okay, how do I get a better work-life balance? Okay, Elaine, thank you for that question. That's a great question. Okay. Well, that's interesting, because that's a very broad question, isn't it? So in other words, if you want to balance your time better so that you have more spare good quality time, again, it's about prioritizing and planning. A lot of this comes down to planning in advance. Most people don't plan. Most of the time we get up in the morning and we just go through our day and we just kind of do some of the stuff that we have to do, and there's no actual plan. You know, I spoke to somebody recently again about that, and they were saying, oh, you know, but yeah, I never plan. I said, well, yeah, but then do you actually get the stuff done? They say, no, I get nothing done. So it's as simple as spending, literally, all it would take is about 3 minutes of your time per day. Okay, but you will end up freeing up probably about 4, 5, 6 hours of your time. Okay, in the long run, because an awful lot of people, especially if you're someone who works for yourself, you tend to spend all day pretty much scattered throughout the day working on your business. And sometimes I know many people who are up at 3 o'clock in the morning working on the business. So that's not healthy. That's not a good, healthy work-life balance, right? Okay. So like, for example, after this now, I'm switching off. Okay. And I'm going over to my mother's for a lovely evening to see her. I haven't seen her in a good while, few weeks. So I'm going to be switching off, but I planned this time. I'd planned that for that to happen tonight. Okay, if I had not planned it, it wouldn't happen, because as I always say, everything has to happen first in here for it to happen out there. So if you want it to happen in reality, then you've got to plan it in advance. So what I suggest is you write a list, okay, prioritize your list. So you have a list of the most important tasks that you want to get done, okay, and do them first. Do them immediately, first thing in the morning, okay? But in your plan, have your time off. Have your scheduled time to spend with family, friends, loved ones, or whatever it is, quality time, even just loving yourself. Okay, because I will do that as well. I will schedule the time that I have for my artwork. I will schedule time for writing. I mean, these are things that I find pleasure. I will schedule time for walking my dog. I have my Sunday scheduled, my day off, for going out with my partner and walking with the dogs and having good quality time. So, you know, even time for having a bath, a nice leisurely bath versus your typical rushed shower in the morning. So schedule your time, and maybe you want to schedule to take half an hour off in the morning every morning for a bit of a meditation or some of that time. Put it into your plan and prioritize it. I mean, and you all probably have heard of a life wheel. So have a look at that, you know, mark out the different areas in your life, like your career, your personal life, your relationships, your health, and notice how full up these areas are, how good they are on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay, how active are you in those areas? And if those areas are very poor, okay, and there's not much happening in those areas, maybe you want to put those priorities on your list. Maybe you want to prioritize more time for spending with your family or your loved ones. Maybe you want to spend more time on your own self-care. Okay, so prioritize your list first thing in the morning. Plan it in advance. What I would really strongly suggest is a visualization where you imagine the whole day going through your mind really, really fast, and imagine yourself literally getting into bed last night, putting your head on the pillow and saying to yourself, wow, that was a great day. I got everything that I wanted to get done. Okay, most of it at least. So at least have the priorities. And even if there was a couple of little things that you didn't get done, that's okay. You can add them to your list tomorrow because maybe they weren't as important. Okay, but most importantly, start with the big things. Okay, do them first and work down your list, but have a list in advance. Okay, so that's what I would suggest. How do I get a better with Clark? For sure. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, for sure. Yes. Thank you, Elaine. Okay. So I'm going to leave it at that because we're nearly at 30 minutes. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. And I'll do a Facebook Live maybe next week if you have any more questions. I would love you to, you can always post them up here also. And I will do a Facebook Live next week with any more thoughts or questions that you have. And of course, in the meantime, kind time, as I like to say, check out danielleserpico.com and get in touch. And as I always say, most importantly, yes, keep dreaming big. Okay? So what I mean by that is always have the end in mind. Okay? You want to have your end result of what you want in your life, those big, big, big dreams. Okay? And work backwards, taking little steps backwards. It's an awful lot less overwhelming, okay, for you. So thank you, Elaine. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And if it's your first time tuning in and watching this, I really appreciate you watching, taking the time to watch out of your day and making that a priority. And I hope to see you and talk to you again very, very soon. Lots and love to you. Bye for now.